May I ask what you are holding?
Oh, it is a gift. You honored me with salt tea on Navarre. The gel from the succulent's flowers is what gives it the tea its distinctive taste. It grows in a small equatorial desert on Kaminar, so it should thrive in the hot, dry climate of Navarre.
Thank you, Mr. Saru.
One of your earth emotions.
Glad I found you.
Let's get married.
Delete the wife.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Deep Space Love, Star Trek podcast, where husband and wife team of Trekkies explore love and romance throughout the final frontier. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
And I'm one of your other hosts, Joe.
You're the only other host, Joe?
The only other host.
Yes. Now that we've got that out of the way. So we're a little bit off on our scheduling a little bit. We had a really cool episode that was recorded but then lost, unfortunately. So we sadly could not
It was painful.
It was very painful, and but we're moving past it. We've got some cool stuff for you today, some new stuff. And also, I mean, I think we have an excuse though. We are in the middle of moving houses. We're buying a new house and also selling our old house. We've got a preschooler and we've got a 4-month-old, and we both work. So what we're trying to say is we are very excited to be here making this podcast, just for ourselves and hopefully for any listeners out there that are also enjoying it. So thanks for being with us.
We do it for the people.
Yeah. However many of you there are. If you're out there, let us know.
Dozens of them.
Let us know. So that's where we're at. So thank you for your patience and for not calling us out on not always delivering monthly on our episodes. I thought monthly was going to be very doable, but yeah, it's
months can get away from you.
Months can really get away. I hope this next month goes by quite quickly though.
Yeah, we're waiting like a month to move. Like we're in this like state of flux, I guess you could say, where a bunch of stuff's packed up. Some of us stuff's not packed up. Doesn't really feel like our house is home and we're just waiting, but it's like 5 weeks of waiting.
We're just in a constant state of transition. It's great. It's not.
I love it.
No, I don't. Anyway, so one of the new things that we wanted to try doing today is a segment that we're going to probably do regularly that we're going to call Trek Check. Joe's probably going to mess that up every once in a while or all the time.
Nope. Trek Check.
Trek Check. And so what that is going to be essentially is, since there's so much new Trek coming out, there's all sorts of updates and news in the fandom. We thought it'd just be fun to discuss our thoughts on, recent episodes of shows that have come out, trailers, whatever new is happening in the franchise, and just
updates and news.
Just geek out.
Computer status report.
I do wish that we could have I know right now Star Trek Chicago or Star Trek Destination Chicago is going on right now, and I sure wish we could have been there. But again, with a new babe, and now we're moving, and I think because we were supposed to go to Vegas in 2020, which obviously didn't pan out, and so it's been kind of weird for us trying to get back into
another painful moment. Bringing up,
I am bringing up a lot of painful moments today, but I'm just I don't know. For some reason, it helps to talk about.
It does. Yeah. So we were unfortunately not able to make it to Destination Chicago this year, but we did hear the news that there's going to be 2023 Star Trek Destination Seattle. It sounds like in May of 2023, so that should be fun. Don't know if we'll be able to make that one, but cool news that it's going to be moving around. Destination, I guess, right? Makes sense.
Yeah, we had a discussion about that. You were like, oh, I guess it's in a new place. And I was like, I guess that's why it's called Destination, because it's a different destination every time. All right. So now that I've introduced Trek Check, we've got a lot to cover. So I'll let Joe start us out.
Yeah, I've got a couple items for this for today's Trek Check for y'all. The first thing I wanted to touch on is, as of this recording, we are in the midst of season 2 of Star Trek Picard, which I believe many of our listeners are probably watching, and if not, that's okay. But I just want to point out that if in this short discussion, there will be spoilers for season 2 of Star Trek Picard. So if you do not want to be spoiled up through episode 6, skip ahead maybe 2 minutes. Anyway, Nicole, what are your thoughts of season 2 of Star Trek Picard so far?
I like the time travel aspect of it, although I have a lot of questions about what's going on. It's tough. So the first season, and we're constantly asking each other, well, how would you rank? Now how would you rank like all the Trek shows, or even just like the newer Trek shows, and like how much you like them, or how I want to say how good they are. We think they're all good. We enjoy them all, but there's always kind of a ranking or a gradient there, and Picard's often always the lowest for me, and I think you too.
Same,
so, yeah. It's so ambitious, and we love seeing the old characters. There's a lot of nostalgia there, and of course, we love the new crew. It's great. So we're only, I guess, we're halfway through this season.
Over halfway now. I think there's
A little
only 10
over
episodes.
halfway.
Yeah.
So, I think my biggest complaint is I'm not sure everybody has had like like all the newer cast members have had as much new stuff to do. I guess like they're there and they're doing stuff, but like meaningful arcs. I guess like it seems like a lot happened off screen in between season 1 and 2, and so now we're still figuring out some of that, and then also trying to see like where these characters going, and I'm not sure all of them are having the same attention, I guess I would say. I mean, it's Star Trek Picard, so obviously everything focuses heavily on Picard, but we've got these great new characters, and I'd like to see them fleshed out, even more, and kind of given a little bit more to do, if that makes sense. So that's maybe my biggest critique of season 2 so far. It's great to have even more people back from the TNG era, like Guinan, and also the, I guess, younger version of Guinan that we met in this season. That was awesome. She was great and wonderful. Q, of course, is as interesting as ever. And we've got Brent Spiner back as another Soong descendant or ancestor or whatever you want to say at this point.
TBD.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I guess, I don't know if we're going to cover this in, I don't know if you cover this later, but we got news about season 3 of Picard that there's going to be it's essentially a TNG reunion at that point, right? I mean, we've got
huge.
All of the main cast will be present. So that was really cool and exciting news. So, yeah, I kind of skipped ahead of myself, but yeah, that's where I'm at on season 2 of Picard. I'm enjoying it. I really want to see how everything turns out, because there seems to be kind of like the first season. Suddenly there seems to be only like a couple threads, and now I feel like there's multiple threads, and I don't know how they're going to get woven together, but I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I would just love to see some of the new crew get a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I agree with you a little bit. I feel like a little bit hesitant about how I feel about the Jurati Borg Queen plot, because I think we've talked about this before, that again, in from season 1, she was under the influence of some alien mind control, and now again that's happening.
This is more interesting, I will say.
I will say this is much more interesting, and I loved in the most recent episode 6, where there was kind of like this back and forth between them, like banter was really enjoyable, surprisingly.
Yeah, Borg Queen with a little more personality.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I really appreciate this take on it. I think it's been pretty fun. It's both been scary and funny in interesting times. Yeah. So I like that quite a bit. I like the time travel aspect too. It's been mentioned to death that it's kind of doing a voyage home, right? Like the Star Trek 4. But I think it's cool to see when Star Trek actually takes on social issues directly, like we see with Rios and the ice situation. And versus season 1, which took on a lot of issues allegorically, you know what I mean? And so sometimes when you see Star Trek like directly tackle an issue, I feel like sometimes that can be more powerful. And sure, it's like, arguably you could say it's like, very direct, very like clear, scathing indictment of ICE or something. Or
which
like,
it should be.
It should be.
We're just going to come on and say that, whatever.
But like, or like some of the old Star Treks are like, oh, that's really like ham-fisted in your face. And I'm like, I'm fine with that. That's what Star Trek has always been. It's always very clear on what's trying to critique. And so I like seeing that direct commentary versus the allegory in the first season. So that's really fun to me. I'm very excited, like what you mentioned about the reunion in season 3. I'm excited to see all those characters and what they're going to bring to the show. I'm curious what they're going to do with our newer cast that have been introduced in season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, that's a big question.
And I'm also very curious if there's going to be any more characters from TNG who will be coming back. Like I don't know. The question is still up in the air about Will Wheaton. I hope we do see him. I don't know, Pulaski. They should bring Pulaski back, right? That'd
Yeah.
be cool. Any Ensign Rowe? Any
Yes.
recurring characters? Probably leave Dwight Schultz, Barclays away. I don't know, but
Mhm. You know what? He had his time in Voyager, I think.
he did. He had
Yeah.
extra time in Voyager, so that's fair.
More time in Voyager.
I think more time in Voyager.
Everyone,
Yeah.
I think people have pointed that out.
Yeah.
Officially, he has more screen time in Voyager than he did in TNG.
Yeah. But anyway, no, I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's much stronger than season 1. I really enjoyed in this most recent episode 6, we got a really good Picard speech about fear and letting it control you kind of thing. When
Just like about mental health.
Yeah, about mental health in general. Really good, like classic Picard speech that I've been really, I realized I've been missing in my life. So I was happy to hear that. But yeah, I'm happy with it.
Also, Alison Pill singing. Apparently that was
wow.
actually her. That was the first thing. We've been watching the show so kind of separately. I'm watching it on our iPad in our bedroom with the baby, and Joe's watching it downstairs on our nice big TV. But so we communicate about the episode through text message, and that was like the first thing I texted you was, or immediately I texted you. I was like, oh my God, is that her singing? Because it was phenomenal. I want a recording of that just to like put on my phone. and listen to.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great.
I just had to point that out.
Next item in our Trek Check segment is we have a couple teasers and trailers to mull over as fans. We have first a recent Strange New Worlds trailer. We just rewatched it before this recording to kind of refresh. But Nicole, what do you think of that?
There's a lot of sex. It's a horny Trek. They're kind of channeling Enterprise in that way, and maybe even surpassing it. There's just a lot of that going on. That's my first thing. Also, it seems like it's going to be more episodic, which I think is what a lot of fans are interested in, and it would be kind of a nice change from the season-long arcs that we've been getting with a lot of the newer Treks like Discovery and Picard here, as we've mentioned. So I think that's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be cool to return to that era and see how that era in the franchise, in the timeline, is going to be kind of refreshed for like a modern. We kind of got that with Discovery, but I think Discovery was doing its own thing, and we've got a lot of the classic like uniform colors and sort of the colors back. Discovery is it's always having like a darker palette.
Yeah, until about season 3, yeah.
Yes, and so it initially had kind of a darker palette even for that time frame in the franchise. But so it's kind of fun to see, the color popping again. It looks like it's going to be funny. There's a lot of humor hinted at in the trailer. So, it's settling its own place amongst kind of the newer shows. I feel like real quickly I was thinking about kind of like what different. This is definitely like the sexiest, going to be the sexiest like newer Trek. Whereas like Discovery is kind of more of the prestige cinematic, a little bit more dramatic, opera. Prodigy's kind of for the kids. Not that us adults are not enjoying it, but it's a little bit more kid friendly. And then, you got Lower Decks, which is like kind of the opposite of that. It's animated, but a lot more adult and comedic. I guess there's a lot of horniness in that too. Classic.
True. Good point.
But, it's animated. It's a little different. Picard is heavy on this nostalgia, I would say. Not that Strange New Worlds won't be. I suppose there's a lot of new faces coming. That's going to be awesome to see, kind of some new casting for classic characters.
Yeah, legacy characters, yeah.
Thank you. Legacy characters. So excited for that. So, yeah, I think that's going to be great. Can't wait. Although we're probably going to be a little bit behind. So maybe it's good it's not going to be a season-long arc because we'll be moving in the middle of May right after it premieres. So I feel like we always try to make time for Trek, but it might be a little bit hard for those first couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I almost feel like I know you didn't, but I feel like you almost read my notes because you said almost all the exact same things I thought too. Like
Weird.
I was the big thing I was thinking right away is like, it feels like it could take the mantle from Enterprise as the horniest Star Trek. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to see, because I feel like Enterprise took that mantle, but not always in the best of ways,
Uh-huh.
Like I want to see this one be horny, but like equitably horny.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Not just T'Pol horny.
Yeah.
So like, let's do that. Let's go all in the horniness for Strange New Worlds, and I'm sold. It does seem really fun. I like the colors, like you said. I feel like I see a lot of cool new aliens, new prosthetics, a lot of from the trailer, some practical effects, which I'm excited to see. It just looks like a lot of fun. I like the casting announcements. I like the cast we've seen already. So I think it's going to be great. What do you think of the Lower Decks teaser that we just got?
Well, I'm not going to steal what you just said, or you told me right before we started recording. So why don't you go first?
Lower Deck. Well, I mean, it's pretty evident that just from the small teaser that we got, that they're kind of tackling a Star Trek 3 sort of plot where they're going to steal the Cerritos as we left in season 2. Captain Freeman, spoilers by the way, has been arrested for the destruction of the Packlet planet. Supposed.
Jeez. Allegedly.
Yeah. But anyway, so it looks like our Lower Decks crew and team is going to do a Cerritos heist, which I'm 100% here for.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. We love Lower Decks. We talked about it before. So, it's only a little bit of a tease, but yeah, I love that premise, and excited to see that team do their thing.
Yeah, reunite and do their thing. Yeah, it was fun to see the images from Chicago where the cast dressed as their characters live. Yeah, that'd be
loved
fun.
that.
It just, I mean,
the Tom Paris plate.
The Tom Paris plate.
Yeah.
I mean, I really want them to do like a live action episode. And maybe just like inexplicably, like don't even mention it. Like suddenly just like one episode is live action and then they're just back to animation. They just never mention why. That'd be fun.
A la Community.
Yes.
It's like the opposite.
Yes. Do that. Yes. I would be 100% here for that too.
I just want to quick mention that we're both wearing one of our newer Star Trek shirts and we both have mugs both basically related to Star Trek. Yours is straight up a Saru coffee mug, and mine is Reading Rainbow, which channels LeVar Burton. So I think it counts.
We're both wearing Lower Decks t-shirts too.
You want to say which one you're wearing? Kayshawn when he was on a t-shirt.
It's an image of Kayshawn.
Well, I mean, like, I presume that anybody who knows even what these shirts are about will know what that one looks like. I'm wearing the Cetacean Ops one.
I actually had to look down and remember what I was wearing, so she just read it for me.
You couldn't read upside down?
I can. Sometimes. Item number 4, I think we're at, right?
There's more?
Yeah. Last thing.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Well, not last thing. I have one more thing I'm going to touch on, but this is the other big one. Another big announcement coming up Star Trek, not necessarily a positive one, as I think we've seen kind of almost miraculously, like the most unified fan base, like in anger against this one. Anyway, Star Trek's doing NFTs. Basically, what we found is Paramount is partnering with a company called Recur, announcing that Star Trek will be the first NFT digital collection to drop from their multi-year partnership to do like digital collectibles, whatever that means. So in any sense, there's going to be a Star Trek continuum is what it's called, hub, where you can purchase digital collectibles. I'm doing like the quote air quotes symbol, and interact with other fans through the quote metaverse. So anyway, how do you feel about Star Trek NFTs?
I feel negatively.
I don't think you're alone in that one.
Yeah. I mean, the joke now is going to be, I don't even understand what an NFT is, but I don't even want to understand. I just don't want it to exist.
Yeah, I feel like when I heard this announcement, like I've really successfully ignored like NFTs in my life in general. But like hearing this announcement, I think I texted a friend of mine and be like, I really don't understand NFTs and I'm mad that I have to think about it. You know, like I don't know. I mean, basically it's digital media. It sounds like it sounds aggressively capitalist in a way that I don't think is very evocative of Star Trek. And it's like it's like the next step in like the cryptocurrency sort of rage of like
the commodification
of it. And like they throw around terms like decentralization, like it's not beholden to a certain market, but I'm not quite sure what that means because especially if corporations are doing it, like it feels very markety, you know? Markety. So I don't know. My initial reactions are negative. I need to do more research. I'm not sure like exactly how like harmful it is to the world other than just being like an annoying pyramid scheme.
Yeah, people keep talking about environmental impact and like that's where you lose me. I'm like, what? Isn't it like digital? I mean, I guess, I know that there needs to be like physical infrastructure for digital stuff, but I don't know. That's beyond me.
Yeah, I got to do some more research into that. Like I have no doubt that it's bad because it's just sounds like something villains would come up with. But
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite know what it is. As of now, it just annoys me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Double thumbs down. The last thing I really wanted to touch on is just something I wanted to say. I don't think, Nicole, you're as into video games as I am.
No, I mean, I played The Sims a lot back in the day, but that's about it.
That's something. But we have a couple fun Star Trek game announcements. We heard from Chicago that there is a new Prodigy game called Star Trek Prodigy Supernova. I believe it's for the Switch. But I don't know much about it, but that seems kind of exciting, especially another way to bring more kids in the franchise. But the big one, another big one, is that Star Trek Resurgence should be coming out relatively soon. It was about a month ago that we got the first sort of gameplay trailer of it. But if you hadn't heard, Star Trek Resurgence is a new Star Trek game being developed by Dramatic Labs, which is made up of a team of former Telltale developers. But it's about characters from the U.S.S. Resolute, which is a new ship and new characters based kind of right after the TNG movie era, which is a cool era to explore because I don't think there's a whole lot there other than the book verse. But we also see Spock in this a lot, and whoever does the voice acting for Spock in the trailer and in the game presumably is phenomenal. It's like really well done. It just sounds like Leonard Nimoy, and it's cool. But it's kind of one of those. It's like a dialogue, like diplomacy gameplay where you're more so. They say it's a narrative adventure game with choices of like dialogue and how to proceed through the universe in a sense. But it sounds really cool. It looks really cool. I think the graphics aren't like top of the line, but they look well done, and I'm excited for that game. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Where do you play that?
That's a good question. I think I've been trying to figure that out. Like I've been trying to figure out in terms of how I can play it because I don't have Xbox or PlayStation 5 or whatever we're at. I don't know. But I was hoping there'd be like a PC alternative, which I think there might be, but I have a MacBook, so I'll have to figure out how to handle that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that is our Trek check.
What the hell was that?
That was a long one.
It was. I mean, there's a lot of news, so
True, which is great.
Yeah. But do you want to dig into what we're talking about today?
I absolutely do. Today, we're going to stay kind of on the newer Trek. I don't know if I like the term not new Trek. I don't know. Newer Trek. A newer Trek show. We're coming back to Discovery.
Current era, you could say?
Current era? CE? Trek? No. No.
I don't know.
No. We're thinking that out loud.
Just say Discovery.
Another Discovery relationship. I would love to spend a little bit of time talking about what happened to Michael and Book this season, but
I bet we will do another episode on that. I'll just say that we'll plan one. Maybe we'll get RINA back.
A lot, yeah, I loved RINA, and that was there was a lot that happened. So, but today we're talking about a blossoming relationship between Saru and the president of Navarre, RINA.
Yeah, we had a meet cute back in season 3 between them in Unification 3, where we first meet President RINA, and there's a little moment at the very end with Saru and RINA where they're kind of walking around, and Saru's captain at the time, so it feels really cool. Like it feels like he's just a captain, like bridging a relationship between like a foreign diplomat, but. Yeah, there's a little bit there. There's a little bit there that I think that the writers didn't intend to think of as chemistry. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit because I have some notes on that. But ultimately in season 4, it developed to a budding romance to I think all out relationship by the end, I would say. Yeah.
I think that they established that that's what they want, or they both admitted that's what they want. Yeah. It's a real slow burn, I would say, relationship. And it's definitely mostly in the background to like all the larger stuff happening.
Yeah, it's kind of definitely like a downwards of a C plot in a sense, but you see it kind of like boiling throughout the season. You see it again. Season 3 is the first when we see them together, but it's really season 4 where that's kind of takes off. So I think I want to say the first episode where we really see like acknowledgement of this relationship is let's see, I have it written down. The episode "All Is Possible," where they're kind of negotiating Navarre's return into the Federation.
Yeah,
that's sort of where we first see hints of it. Where they're in the negotiating table, and then I think RINA invites Saru to come back for some tea. Hot.
Tea, hot. Just tea. I don't know what tea
Yeah.
she drinks. I don't know. It's been a beautiful relationship to watch bud and flourish. Hopefully will flourish in season 5 and beyond, depending on how long we get Disco. But yeah, very interesting. I think it's really cool. Even though Vulcans are humanoid, it's really great to see kind of a relationship between two pretty alien species, I guess. And especially Saru. I guess, I don't know if we would have ever, I never would have anticipated like the way that Saru presents himself, I guess. I wouldn't have necessarily imagined that he would get a romance plot, but I think you're going to get into that. So yeah, I think it's pretty special. I like to see Saru happy.
I know, Saru, yeah. I mean, really, I like to see all of them happy. Like, whenever any of them are sad, like, I'm sad. It's just such an emotional show, which I think is one of the show's strengths. I think that it's really going for that, but I know that sometimes people don't like that. But yeah, I want to see Saru happy, and I think that there was a point in the end of season 4 where Tarina was kind of like backing off from the relationship, and Saru was just like, you could tell he was sad because Doug Jones is a great performer, and I was like, oh my God, my heart just breaks for Saru right now.
No.
Yeah, but spoiler alert, it turns out okay.
I also think it's great because it represents to me, I think we saw in this season, the Discovery crew really finding their footing in this century that they arrived in, and they're settling into the point where they're branching out. And that's coming from like multiple characters, but so I guess like, Saru forming a relationship with someone who's not on the ship, I mean, it's all, most of their relationships have been ship centered. Michael and Book, of course, not as much, but I mean, Book's ship hangs out in their cargo bay a lot. And, I mean, that's obviously going to change now, but, if that makes sense, sort of, you've got Tilly branched out to essentially leave her post on the Discovery and, teach at the academy. And Saru, developing a significant relationship with someone who's not on the ship.
And Commander Bryce leaving the ship to go chill with David Cronenberg.
To go chill with David Cronenberg, yeah. So they all seemed pretty scared to leave like their home base of Discovery in season 3, which of course is understandable, obviously. But I think that's what this represents to me is sort of this settling in and blending into their now current time.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I was trying to like workshop titles for this episode, and I kept going to be like, Love is a Diplomatic Battlefield, or the Diplomacy of Love, because I felt like this relationship mirrors the diplomacy that the show's trying to really put forward. And I think that the relationship between Saru and Tarina is very slow burn, but it also shows, like you said, it mirrors that slow burn, like incorporation of the Discovery crew into this timeline. And also in general mirrors the season's overarching plot of this like attempt to like to reach out and like use diplomacy to contact with species 10C. Mm-hmm. So like I feel like there's a lot of parallels between all those, and like Saru and Tarina's relationship really reflects that on a very personal level. And we see that because it is so slow burn. It is so like muted in a sense that we don't see it as like the forefront of the storylines. But we see like this sort of like gentle dance back and forth of what they're able to do or what they do to like demonstrate that they care for each other. Like I think I mentioned that episode All Is Possible in season 4 of Discovery where they have tea together, right? That's the first inkling of that. But then we have, I have the notes here. It's episode is called But to Connect, which is later on. It's when they're, the big Federation meeting of what to do with the DMA and species 10C. There's a moment where Saru meets up with President Tarina and gives her a special succulent, a Kelpian plant. And we know how meaningful the plants are to Kelpians, to Saru himself. And he gives that to her. He's like, this should do well in the hot Vulcan climate.
Oh, it's so
cute, right? And then from then on, like after that episode, like then she as a delegate joins the Discovery crew along with many other like delegates from the Federation or Federation aligned worlds to go speak with the species 10C. So then there's this sort of like gentle escalation of the romance throughout the next several episodes, where we even see Saru kind of feeling nervous for Tarina when she's like, I'm going to mind meld with the 10C. You know, remember that? She's like, she's like, and that's when she rebukes him. She's like, nah. And like, you back off. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, I don't want to form relationships because I don't want to feel too connected right now.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, like that's that small conflict in the grand scheme of many conflicts of the show leads to a really beautiful exchange between the two of them that I kind of wrote down the quotes. And Saru kind of talks about that the possibility of like losing someone or is why he avoids closeness to in that regard as well as and Tarina expressed the same thing. But later, Tarina says, quote, I have been considering what you shared earlier. I have long told myself that balancing duty and personal relationships was not possible. I believe now that I was being dishonest with myself. It is possible, if difficult. However, it is worth the effort for the right individual. And Saru says, when I feared we may not survive, my greatest regret was that I had not spent more time with you, Madam President. And she says, please, you must call me Tarina.
First name basis.
First names. It's a really nice quote. I mean, series of dialogue together.
Yes. Yes. That kind of brings up a point I think I want to make. I think another thing about the relationship that is powerful is sort of the opposite instinct or kind of framework in which they live their life. So Tarina as a Vulcan is very logic based, and we know Saru for the longest time as a Kelpian went about his life I'm trying to say living and making decisions based on fear. No, I don't want to say fear, but like, instinct and feeling, I guess, which is basically what Vulcans try to repress is acting on feelings or fear, in that sense. So I think it's really beautiful that these two nearly opposite species are people from these nearly two opposite species are coming together to form a relationship, possible romance, it seems. So I think that that's really special.
Agreed. I think that's it's a really cool, just like snapshot of Star Trek in general, just like bridging differences to find like community and communal like ideas and sense in a sense like that. It's cool.
And it often boils down to kind of logic versus feelings in a way.
Yes. Oh, that's
all
theme.
The way since TOS. Yeah. And Michael went through that as well a lot in the first couple seasons. And it's interesting to watch sometimes like early Michael and then like Michael now, and just even the way she speaks now is so intense and passionate and meaningful. Whereas in the beginning, it was very much, I'm channeling volcanism and logic and I am aloof and, it's very different. And it's really been cool to see her character.
It's a testament to Sonequa herself. Like she's able to like show in those first couple seasons that she is trying to be very logical, but you can tell with the performance that she's putting on that she is a very passionate individual underneath that. And I feel like the writers have kind of intentionally shown that growth, and they're like, oh, she had that year to spend with Book before the disco came back. And she really like found who she was like underneath the Vulcan logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, just a tangent on Michael.
It's a good point, yeah.
But I think it just sort of demonstrates that theme that is constant and ever present in Star Trek.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious about like, I think you mentioned this, that it would be interesting for all the types of representation, like sexual representation we see on Discovery, or like gender representation, that like this relationship, you said it could be like an asexual relationship.
Yeah, we discussed this before we even did the episode, and I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but it could be really great to have that. And I almost think it would possibly, make sense. I mean, Saru, I guess, I don't know. I mean, they've never said one way or another, he has never said that one way or another, like kind of like how he, his sexuality or, identity on that front. But I guess he's maybe often come across to me as possibly asexual, or Ace. So
Possibly, yeah. I'm curious if they go a different direction with it, like how their anatomy / libidos would line up. Like we know the Vulcans have this Ponfar, the 7
Mhm.
years thing, but we also know from Enterprise that they don't have to only be confined to Ponfar, right? Like they can have sex whenever they want, really.
true.
So like, also I'm wondering, like in this 31st century, is Ponfar still a thing? Like we know that we've seen
Yeah, we haven't seen.
Vulcan like logic and Vulcan like philosophy evolve over like many iterations of Star Trek. Like, is that still a thing? Like, how
And
would
they've merged with the Romulans.
they merge with the Romulans? So maybe they're more emotional. And I'm wondering also, like, I think it'd be really cool to actually dig into Kelpian anatomy a bit more. Like, how do they reproduce? You know, like, what if, here's my thought. What
Okay.
if Kelpians are like seahorses and the males hold the babies? What if we had pregnant Saru?
You're kind of jumping a little bit ahead, and it's interesting because of one of the points I wanted to bring up is the fact that they are, you know, even for their, I guess we don't know how old Tarina is, but because she's in such an established position as the president of
Yeah.
Navarre, presumably she's an older member of her species, or, you know, middle-aged to, you know, kind of in that
And
prime
Vulcans
age.
age much more slowly than humans, right? So she could be like 200 years old.
Yeah. And I mean, as for Saru, I guess we don't know necessarily his lifespan, but he's definitely a mature Kelpian. Like he went through, what is that?
Vahari.
Thank you. And so they're both mature individuals of their species. And I think that is another great thing to set in, to present also in a show like this is, you know, not to be ageist about romantic plots and to show mature individuals, older individuals falling in love and having a relationship, a romantic relationship, a sexual relationship possibly, and exploring that, because a lot of times romance plots are often focused on kind of like, you know, in Strange New Worlds, that kind of seems like what it's going to be, you know, like, you know, the horny Trek, it's like kind of the younger cast members when you're like a lot more, but seeing like a mature like romance and relationship blossom, I think that could be cool. I mean, not to say that, I mean, perhaps like they can both reproduce at their ages still. So you could say, I mean, that would definitely be a cool thing. It would probably come off as a better pregnant male plot than Trip in that one Enterprise episode.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't really had like a pregnant man plot other than the one Enterprise episode where Trip gets the extra nipple.
Yeah, we're a human. Yeah.
So like
a human male gets pregnant.
It'd be cool to see it in a different way.
Yes. So that either thing could be cool, I think. But I guess, yeah, that's where we're different. I guess you want to see a pregnant dude, and I was like, oh, I'd love to see two older people have a romance. So
it's me in a nutshell. I want to see a pregnant dude.
Okay.
The last thing I kind of wanted to bring up with regards to this relationship before we get into our rating scale stuff is that I think it's really interesting. We mentioned that it was teased in Unification 3. I felt like it was teased, but not everyone felt that way. And there's a really cool interview with Doug Jones on the website heavy.com, where he goes into the fact that that was not the original intent, even though he felt it to be that way. And so I have some quotes from Doug Jones from the article here that I'll read out that kind of illustrates how that relationship became to develop. And I think it's really interesting to hear. So he says, quote, "When we first met each other in season 3, when she just came aboard our ship for one episode to help work out a little diplomatic issue, I felt like this could be a budding thing if they let it go on, if they bring her back ever," Jones said, "especially the way we said goodbye to each other. I was the diplomatic contact with her who was trying to ease the pain of them being out of the Federation and wanting them back. Our chats down the hallway and our private moments when we said goodbye, there seemed to be a connection there." And he goes on to say, "I thought that was the writer's intention, but when I brought it up to the writers, I said, is this where we're going? Oh, well, maybe it could be. I brought the idea to them, basically." And then Jones said that he and Rosling, who plays Tarina, who he says is just fantastic, both felt that something was happening between Saru and Tarina. And when Tarina returned for season 4, the writers obliged and gave Saru and the president of Navarre something more.
Oh, I love that. I mean, of course, like, I'm just like waiting to just say that. Also, love Doug Jones so much. I just
Tara Rosling is her name, by the way. I should give her full name too.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's amazing. I absolutely love. I actually think that it makes this relationship even better that the writers hadn't intended it. and perhaps, I don't know if it was the way they wrote it or just maybe the way it was, those two acted it, but if they both kind of separately were like, hey, it feels like this is where this is going, like just that tiniest little, like just possible spark, and they were like, that's what's happening. And then the fact that the writers listened and obliged that is just beautiful.
Agreed. I think that's, it's cool to see like the actors who are like really living in those characters, like feel out that and like, this is the direction we want to take this.
Yeah. They know the characters now even better than, even though, they've created these characters and now live in them, like you said. And so, if that's what they say those characters are feeling, I'm glad that the writers took it in that direction.
Yeah. One last thing before we get into the rating scale, though. What do you think their power couple name would be? Serena or Taru?
I feel like Taru sounds a little bit better. What?
Really?
What? Serena?
Serena's like a real name.
What? That's why I thought it wouldn't evoke like a amalgamation of two names, because it sounds like a regular name.
Yeah. Taru.
Like Benifer. Like Benifer's not a real name.
Benifer's great though.
Benifer's not a real name. That's why you're like, oh, that's like
it's a portmanteau.
Combination. Yes,
Yeah,
whatever.
That's true. I guess. Yeah. Taru. Let's go with Taru.
Whatever. Are we going to be the deciders of this? I don't know. I'm going to ask Doug Jones.
Ask Doug Jones.
I wonder what he should be the final.
Yeah.
The final say.
Or Tara Rosling.
Or Tara Rosling.
Ask them both what they think.
I just realized that, before we recorded this, that basically both of the podcasts that you host are basically any opportunity to like love on Doug Jones. So, I mean, secretly you just wanted like a multiple podcast where you could talk about Doug Jones. Is that your whole spiel? Yeah.
For those of you listening who might be confused what she's talking about, I also co-host another podcast called Frankenstein's Podcast about creature features, and Doug Jones, we know, is the king of creature features.
Yes.
Always in makeup, always in prosthetics. So yes, ultimately all of what I've done is a reason to get a chance to talk to Doug Jones someday.
That'd be amazing.
Absolutely.
I would ask him that question.
I hope you would.
Yeah. Otherwise, well, whatever. I think Taru.
All right, Taru. I'll go with it. I'll go with it with you.
I can't believe we're so opposite on that. I can't believe you thought Serena was going to be
fine with both of them. It's just when we said Taru, it sounds funny.
Because it has to be one or the other. I don't know how else you do that.
Serena with an apostrophe.
Yeah.
So it's more typed.
Taru. I like Taru.
Okay, we'll
it's
go
like
Taru.
Shorter.
Yeah. Taru.
Okay.
All right. Shall we move on to the patented rating scale?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Sorry, patent pending. It's not actually pending, but I'm going to say that.
You say Trek check.
Trek check. Trek check.
Maybe you can say it.
Maybe I can. So where would this the Saru Tarina relationship fall on our rating scale for you? And I'll just briefly say that we have a 5-point rating scale. It goes like this: from the bottom, a red alert, meaning a really toxic relationship, not good. We don't want to see it. Next up is a yellow alert, pretty toxic, but not as bad as a red alert per se. A fascinating, being something we're very intrigued by and are on board with. We'd love to see more. A fully functional, meaning something that we are more than on board with, and a resistance is futile, meaning too hot to handle. Where does this relationship fall on the rating scale for you, Nicole?
I have to go first.
Sure.
It's really hard to decide. I feel like I want to put it on the positive side of the scale, obviously. I think it probably belongs in fascinating, but a part of me wants to give it a resistance is futile, though, as my actual, like how I feel, because especially finding out that both of the actors portraying the characters were like early on, were like before the writers even knew, like they were, I think there's something here. Like I feel like that clearly is like irresistible. So I guess the resistance is futile for me. And also I feel like, we don't have to save that for only like a couple like really big power couples. And we're also predicting they're going to be a power couple. So yeah. I mean, they both have a lot of power, right? I mean, Saru is a captain and she's a president of a planet. So
yeah, he's like a captain and a diplomat.
Yeah. So for me, it's going to be resistance is futile. Why not go to the extremes of the scale?
Resistance is futile.
Yeah,
it's a 5 out of 5 for me.
Awesome. Yeah. I think in my head, I had kind of wavered between fasting and fully functional. but only in the sense that I felt like it's got room to grow, but I anticipate it growing in a Resistance is Futile manner, if that makes sense. So I'm like, as it's, yeah, exactly. So I think we're in agreement, like where it's, as it stands right now, like I'm at oh, it's like budding. It's still budding. Like they just basically just barely admitted that they actually liked each other at the very end there.
Well, I think she was saying she liked him, but just she was trying to avoid liking him.
Yes.
They've agreed to move
forward with liking each other. So
being technical here.
Yeah, I mean that's a Vulcan way. But I think I'm more falling in the fully functional category, just because I think that there's a lot there that I really like. I love, like you mentioned, the actors coming forward to make these kind of decisions, and that the way they portrayed the characters and the way that they showed this relationship develop is really powerful and really cool to see amidst the backdrop of a lot of these other plots. So yeah, I'm gonna fully commit, fully functional.
I am fully functional.
You're going to fully commit.
Fully commit.
Okay. Well, okay. There you have it.
Where do you think they're going to go next?
Discovery?
Yeah, season 5. What do you think? What are we going to see there?
I don't know. It's really hard to predict. I mean, I couldn't have predicted the DMA. They've crossed the galactic barrier now, so anything's possible. Mm-hmm. I think I'd like to maybe see it kind of come back more into Federation territory, though. I guess we kind of had that in season 3, but the Federation didn't really exist anymore. So they brought the Federation back together. And then season 4 was kind of about sort of going back out again, out of the Federation, meeting this new species, which we didn't even get a chance to talk about, which I guess it wasn't the focus of this, but a little bit of it was kind of important, I think, in their relationship, kind of the way that they were both handling that situation. But anyway, it was a really cool ending to the season. And anyway, what I want to see in season 5 is maybe come back again to the Federation territory and explore some things in that, because there's a lot going on there, and it's still kind of in a fledgling status, I would say. I mean, we just got Earth on board, right? So
yeah, agreed. I think that I really enjoyed the latter half of season 4 when they had all the diplomats aboard. I think that was really fun and reminded me of kind of some old school TNG plots where they're just transporting, I don't know, ambassadors to and from planets, right? Like I think that was fun, and I kind of would like to see a little bit more of the political side of things. Like, how is the Federation working to get more members back on board? We see bits of that, and I like I like President Rillick as a character. I'd like to see more of her too. I want to see more of Admiral Vance. We love him, and so I'd like to see that. I want to see cool, weird aliens, of course, but I think that we have the opportunity to see those within the Federation too, like you said, like those butterfly people, right? Mm-hmm. That was cool. That was awesome. Like, it looks like those people are on board with coming back in.
Yeah.
So like, let's see stuff like that. Let's see planets that we know and love from the old shows, like Cardassia, Kronos, like now fully realized with the technology that we have, instead of just like the map paintings, which, no shade on the map paintings, they're beautiful, but I want to see how we can see some of those planets like fully realized with the tech that we have now.
Yeah. And coming back, so we've gotten a little bit of, where the Vulcans and Romulans are at, but yeah, kind of like you said, like, I think that's what I mean too, is coming back into the Federation, not only just like how it's grown since their time jump, but also how the species and planets that are classic in Trek have also evolved over this long period of time. Would be great to see, because we haven't necessarily had an opportunity to really check in with a lot of those species, because there's been these big focuses, and the new stuff, of course. Rest in peace, Quajon.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, that was so cool. I wanted to see more Quajon. I can't say how incredibly sad and frustrating it is that it's gone. But anyway, maybe
we'll see more of Butterfly People World.
Sure.
It seemed naturey. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, Quajon, we just got just started introducing their culture. We just
learned about the sap.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
We don't know exactly what we have coming up for you next. Again, life is a little bit in turmoil now, but
look for us in May. But don't be disappointed if we're not there in May.
Yeah. Once we make the move, we should have and the baby's a little bit older, we should have a little bit more of a regular schedule to be able to attend to. And also, the technical difficulties of the recording that we lost, we, learn a little bit more along the way about how to avoid snafus like that. So again, bear with us. And again, if you're listening and you enjoy what you're listening to, please follow us on Twitter at DSLovePod and leave us a 5-star rating if you're so obliged. And otherwise, we will update on Twitter when we plan to release again. And until next time, love long and prosper.